안녕하십니까. 글로벌 전략실 최연경,
리서치 센터 김시현입니다.
오늘은 AI 업계 주요 트렌드와 국내 투자자들 관심이 많은 미국 팔란티어, 테슬라, 애플 기업을 분석해 보겠습니다. 주요 테크 기업들의 투자 확대, 신기술 도입, 그리고 산업 전반에 걸친 혁신이 이어지는 가운데 AI 시장의 향후 전망은 어떻게 될까요? 해답을 얻기 위해 반가운 손님을 다시 모시게 되었는데요. 월스트리트 대표 테크주와 애널리스트 댄 아이브스와 이번 시간 함께하겠습니다. Joining us now is Dan Ives, Global Head of Technology Research over Wedbush. Hello Dan, it's good to see you again back in our channel. Still looking fabulous with your outfits.
It's great to be here back in Seoul. Such an exciting time with the AI revolution.
First, I want to talk about the overall AI current state because AI will definitely be the main theme in 2025. There were two big things this January, Stargate and DeepSeek. I'm pretty sure the expected effects of these events is what the investor would like to know more about, especially from you, Dan. What was your first thought or impression that came up into your mind when you heard of the DeepSeek?
I mean, look, we started to hear about DeepSeek in late December, and then at CES and in Vegas in early January. Look, I thought it was just way overdone to begin with. In terms of any sort of worries that DeepSeek, for $6 million and an LLM model, that Chinese model was going to take down U.S. tech infrastructure. NVIDIA down 17% on the day. We view that as a golden buying opportunity because the reality is that this AI revolution is just starting. You have $325 billion of AI capex that now, in terms of Mag 7, will happen in 2025. But it just shows the nervousness, the jitters that are out there, and you saw it with DeepSeek. But I just think that was way overdone.
So because I usually analyze the industrial sector, and industrial sector has been also largely affected by the AI because AI data centers are known to use much more electricity than before. So for example, like SMR, which OKLO is in your coverage, that has surged about 150% even in this year. So I wonder, what do you think about the big trend surrounding the AI, or do you think there is another sector or theme that might benefit in 2025?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, look, I view it, the AI revolution, but it's about the second, third, fourth derivatives. Because for every dollar spent on an NVIDIA chip, there's an $8 to $10 multiplier across the rest of the tech. So to that point, in terms of data center build-outs, AKO, one of our favorite names, I think the cooling, the energy plays, I think that's going to be one of the biggest beneficiaries when you start to think over the coming years, second, third beneficiaries. That's why when it comes to playing the AI theme, it's not just about Mag 7. I think on industrials, on energy, and then just across tech. But I continue to believe it's only 10 p.m. in the AI party. That goes to 4 a.m. That was 9 p.m., early last year. And I think as this plays on, you're going to have more and more tech and industrial players joining Jensen and others in the dance floor at the party.
Tech stock will continue to edge higher in 2025 after hitting record high last year. So Palantir investors should watch this clip by turning up the volume a little bit higher. Palantir once again shows surprising growth this year, and by looking at their stock surge recently, what is the long-term outlook of this company? I hear that deepening ties with the federal government and its growing role in supporting the national security and defense.
Palantir has been one of our favorites, table pounder. We view him as the Messi of AI. Because we think it's the next Oracle or Salesforce. When you think about the AI use cases, there's nothing better than what Palantir has built in terms of Karp and the team on AIP. It's not just about defense, it's about commercial on the enterprise. And look, I think it's just starting to play out in terms of Palantir. Now look, we've talked about, if you focus just on 1 year PE, you've missed out on every transformational tech stock the last 20 years. Palantir, same thing. You got to look at the next 3-5 years. I believe it's $1 trillion market cap in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, so software definitely seems to getting the momentum, and I saw in your report that 2025 software can see as enterprise consumption surged, the LLM adoption or the Gen AI use cases, and which I totally agree. Palantir also started to monetize AI faster than the other companies. But there's always some concerns that Palantir valuation is now reaching the historically high level, and also that they're kind of reaching another level of the rule of 40, which was the conventional metrics to evaluate the software companies. So what will be the key to evaluate this kind of software company, including Palantir?
Look, the haters hate, right? I mean, so we always say like the bears in hibernation mode, they can't see AI in the spreadsheets. So when you look at a name like Palantir, I think it's really about what does free cash flow look like next 2, 3, 4 years. Look, if you try to put this one in valuation, you'll miss it just like Meta, Tesla, Apple, and so many others, and NVIDIA. Because when you think about these AI use cases, Palantir has the secret sauce that no other company has. So others are going to benefit in terms of software, but I think front and center names like Palantir, and I think we could be talking about a company that's doing 8-10 billion annually of revenue. Next, call it, when you look out 3, 4, 5 years, could that be 5-6 billion of free cash flow? That to me is the best way to look at Palantir. And I think when you look at Alex Karp, I mean, you're talking about the Mount Rushmore along with Jensen, Nadella, and others that understand AI.
Talk about Tesla, including the US automakers. They're facing a situation where they need to reduce their dependence on relying on the Chinese batteries supply chain under the IRA framework. As you know, Trump administration is likely to focus on supply chain decoupling from China, so which could lead to the concerns about these automakers' cost increases. What's your thought on this? Like, how is this going to give effect on the Tesla stock price?
Look, I mean, Musk, the bet for the ages was betting on Trump. And it comes down to autonomous. That's the goal at the end of the rainbow. That's the golden goose. I mean, we believe that's worth $1 trillion alone to Tesla. When it comes to China, I mean, look, that's why Musk 10% politician, 90% CEO. I think he's going to be able to navigate a lot of the China tariff situation, especially given the footprint they have in China. Now, look, when all these things play out, there will be some headline risk, for Tesla, for Apple, and others. But I think bark's worse than the bite. I mean, we don't see that this is going to impede the AI revolution, but specifically around autonomous, because that right now 90% of the value for Tesla is autonomous and robotics.
So Elon Musk stated in a January conference call that Tesla will start the paid robotaxi services by June. And will this contribute to the Tesla's performance immediately by the end of this year?
The fact that came out 6 to 9 months ahead of what anyone expected, I think it shows, because look, autonomous and robotics in terms of Optimus, that's the future of Tesla. Now look, the biggest issue has been the federal roadmap really missing, and I think now with Trump in the White House, you will start to see a federal roadmap in terms of autonomous. I believe that's going to be a big driver. Now look, the bears, they'll continue to focus on deliveries, an off week here or there. But at the end of the day, I think they're still growing deliveries 10 to 12%. Margins, I think, have troughed. And in terms of full self-driving, autonomous, and robotics, that's going to be the key.
And I actually want to hear you about the Optimus more, because, I'm actually very excited and nervous at the same time that how this humanoid robot might replace the human labor market in the near future. And Musk stated that actually there will be about 10 billion humanoid robots by the 2040. So I want to hear about what's your opinion about the humanoid robotics markets and how this market can impact Tesla in the near future.
Yeah, I think in the near term, more jobs are created than taken away in terms of just in terms of innovation, software engineers, development. I mean, look, I could go back to when Windows came out in 1995. There were so many articles, so many words. This could be the end of the job market. Yet it spawned probably the biggest asset for the United States in terms of the U.S. tech infrastructure. So the point is, when I look at robotics, I think there's going to be on the consumer side, in terms of Optimus, eventually on factories and others. But, I think when you look at Optimus, that could be bigger, along with autonomous, than Tesla's valuation alone.
So the last sector that we're going to talk about is Apple. Apple continues to face concerns about due to the rise of local Chinese competitors. With a recent 2Q report showing the decline of 11% year on year, do you think that Apple's intelligence momentum will offset the weakness in China?
Look, I'd characterize the quarter as better than feared. I mean, look, the haters hate as they do in Apple. That's why they've missed the last $2 trillion of market cap, thinking that the innovation was done. I just believe 25% of the world, they'll access AI through an Apple consumer device. As Apple Intelligence gets rolled out in China, we think Alibaba and ultimately Baidu as partners, that's going to really return growth starting in the June quarter to Apple. Do they have headwinds in the market? No doubt. But I just continue, very similar as like Tesla in terms of robotics and autonomous. For Apple, the focus is really what the consumer AI revolution, the hundreds of apps that will get built on top of Apple Intelligence, what does that mean for Cupertino? And that's why I think there'll be the first $4 trillion market cap, then followed by Godfather of AI, Jensen NVIDIA.
That Apple can reach 4 trillion in the early 2020.
I think by the summer. By the next time I'm here, Apple hits 4 trillion. It's about the consumer AI revolution that comes to an Apple device. And when you look at the upgrade cycle, whether it's iPhone 16 or iPhone 17, a multi-year upgrade cycle, Apple Intelligence, just like it's done in the US, as it gets rolled out in China, as it gets rolled out around the world, that's going to fuel an upgrade cycle with. Right now, you have about 300 million iPhones that haven't upgraded in 4 years.
So Apple is going to release the SE4, the entry-level iPhone. So are there any views on the iPhone product mix?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to continue to be heavy iPhone 16 Pro Max. I mean, about 80% will ultimately be Pro and Pro Max. But that's why ASPs continue to increase. And you talk about China being its biggest headwind, that becomes a tailwind starting in the June quarter. Easier comps. And then, I continue to believe Bark's going to be worse than Byte when it comes to U.S.-China trade negotiations. And I think that plays out for a very bullish scenario, not just for tech, but for Apple.
So finally, the very last question. This is going to be more on the user's perspective. What has been the feedback in countries where Apple has launched its AI services? What are their satisfaction level, and which features are most preferred?
Look, in the U.S., I mean, it's the biggest upgrade cycle they've ever had in terms of a quarter. So it has helped launch the upgrade cycle. But Rome wasn't built in a day, neither will Apple Intelligence. I mean, this is going to roll out over time in terms of ChatGPT and other services. But the big thing are the apps that are going to get built on top of Apple Intelligence. That really is the secret sauce. And I think as that gets rolled out more and more, and you have more and more of these models, I think that's where Apple wins. And I think that's where they continue to get, I think really discounted in terms of really their install base. And that's what I believe is the key install base.
Well, thank you, Dan. It's grateful to see you back on our channel.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Yeah, it was perfect timing for you to visit Korea, when everyone just needed you to hear from you. Super thankful for your insightful analysis.
No, it's great to be here, and thanks for awesome questions.
지금까지 웨드비스 증권사 댄 아이브스와 함께 AI 시장 전망과 미국 테크주 관련된 이야기를 나눠봤습니다. 시장을 남다르게 바라보고 더 빠르게 대응하는 데 도움이 됐길 바랍니다. 앞으로도 변화하는 시장 흐름을 주목하면서 업데이트해드릴게요. 함께 해주신 김지한 위원님 감사합니다.
저도 감사합니다.
And then we're going to do the closing remarks by saying Hana friends, 안녕 together.
Good.
Sure. Hana friends,
Friends.
안녕.
안녕.
안녕히 계세요.